Picture this. You're traveling, you meet someone new, they hear your accent, or they hear you say you're Irish, and you can almost see the checklist forming behind their eyes. Oh nice, so you must love Guinness. Bet you're hilarious. Do you have red hair? Can you speak Gaelic? Are you Catholic? Do you hate the British? It's not always mean. Sometimes it's just curiosity. Sometimes it's a joke. Sometimes it's a compliment. But stereotypes are weird like that. They take a tiny piece of reality, turn it into a cartoon, and then hand that cartoon to the whole world like it's the truth. And if you're Irish, or you've lived around Irish people, you already know the problem. The stereotype version of Irish is a character, a costume, a movie role. The real Ireland is far more complicated, more modern, more diverse, and honestly, more interesting than the clichés. So in this video, I'm going to walk through 10 stereotypes about Irish people that are actually wrong, or at least so exaggerated that they become misleading. For each one, I'll explain what people assume, why the idea stuck, and what the reality looks like when you zoom in close. And stay with me to the end, because the last one is the stereotype that quietly creates the most misunderstanding of all, the idea that Irish people are all basically the same. Alright, let's get into it. First stereotype, all Irish people are heavy drinkers. This one is so common it's almost treated like a harmless joke. Pub culture, St. Patrick's Day, the marketing, the movies, the world has been trained to link Ireland with alcohol like it's part of the national identity. But here's the thing. A country can have a famous pub culture without every individual being a pub person. In real life, Irish people are not a single behavior pattern. Drinking habits vary massively by age, personality, health, religion, region, and lifestyle. There are people who love going out. There are people who only drink at weddings. There are people who don't drink at all. And there are plenty of people who look at the stereotype and feel embarrassed by it, because it reduces a whole culture to one habit. Also, the stereotype pretends drinking is just a fun personality trait, when alcohol is a serious issue everywhere, including Ireland. Many families have painful experiences with it. So when someone jokes, Irish people can drink anyone under the table, it can feel less like a compliment and more like someone repeating the same tired label without thinking. If you want the honest truth, Ireland has pubs the way some countries have cafes or tea houses. It's a social space. It's conversation. It's music. It's community. And yes, sometimes it's alcohol. But the stereotype leaves out the fact that modern Irish life includes everything from gym culture to wellness trends to people choosing not to drink because they're driving, training, working early, or just not interested. So no. Being Irish doesn't automatically mean you drink a lot. It means you come from a culture that has a famous social setting where people often gather. That's a very different thing. Second stereotype. Irish people are always cheerful, always funny, always ready for crack 24/7. Now, to be fair, Irish humor is real. Anyone who's spent time around Irish people knows the quick wit, the sarcasm, the ability to turn a story into a performance. The gift of making ordinary things sound hilarious. But here's what gets lost. The stereotype turns Irish people into entertainers. Like every Irish person is supposed to be a friendly comedian on demand. And that's not how real personalities work. Yes, humor is a big part of the culture. But so is privacy. So is understatement. So is not taking yourself too seriously. There are plenty of Irish people who are quiet. Plenty who are reserved. Plenty who are introverted. Plenty who don't want to perform. And plenty who use humor as a shield, not as a party trick. The always cheerful stereotype can also feel weirdly dismissive. Like Irish people are not allowed to be complex, stressed, serious, or tired. Like they have to be the funny friend. In reality, Irish humor often shows up in specific contexts: banter with close friends, dry comments in tense situations, the kind of storytelling that happens when people feel comfortable. So yes, Irish culture has a strong humor tradition. But no, Irish people are not permanently cheerful comedians waiting to entertain strangers. Third stereotype, everyone in Ireland has red hair and freckles. This might be the most visually obvious stereotype, and it's one of the easiest to prove wrong the moment you land in Dublin, Cork, Galway, Belfast, Limerick, anywhere. Red hair exists in Ireland at higher rates than many countries, sure. But the stereotype makes it sound like the average Irish street is a parade of red hair, pale skin, and freckles. The reality is far more varied. You'll see every shade of hair, brown, black, blonde, auburn, and every combination of skin tone and features. Ireland has always had migration and mixing over centuries, and in modern Ireland, that diversity is even more visible. Also, even when someone does have red hair, that doesn't mean they want to be treated like a tourist mascot. Sometimes stereotypes are built from what looks distinct. Red hair stands out. So media uses it. Tourism marketing uses it. Movies exaggerate it. And then people assume it's a national uniform. Ireland isn't a costume rack. It's a real place with real human variety. Fourth stereotype: Irish people are uneducated, old-fashioned, or behind the times. This one is older, and it's rooted in historical prejudice. For a long time, Irish people were portrayed in cartoons and commentary as simple, backward, even foolish. The kind of stereotype that was used to justify discrimination, especially in places where Irish immigrants arrived and were treated as second class. But if you look at modern Ireland, that stereotype collapses instantly. Ireland is one of the most globally connected places in Europe. It's modern, it's urban in many areas, it's tech-driven, and it has a strong education system. It's home to major international companies, global industries, and a workforce that moves across borders. Now, does Ireland also have tradition? Absolutely. And that's the point. A country can have deep tradition and still be modern. Old-fashioned stereotypes love to freeze Ireland in a time capsule. Like it's permanently rural, permanently stuck, permanently quaint. Real Ireland includes rural life and city life, old and new, local culture and global culture, often existing side by side. If someone thinks Ireland is behind the times, they're usually imagining a movie set, not a real country. Fifth stereotype: Irish people are angry, loud, and always ready to fight. This stereotype often shows up in the hot-tempered Irish character. The person who's always shouting, always offended, always throwing punches. And again, it's a cartoon. Yes, Irish conversation can be direct. Yes, banter can sound intense to outsiders. Yes, people can speak with passion. But passion is not aggression. Sometimes what outsiders interpret as anger is just a different style of communication, more expressive, more blunt, more comfortable with confrontation in conversation. Sometimes what sounds like a fight is actually joking. And the stereotype ignores something important: Irish culture can be very emotionally intelligent, very socially aware, and very skilled at reading between the lines. There's a lot of subtlety. There's also a strong sense of fairness and social conscience. The stereotype also misunderstands the role of teasing. In many Irish social circles, teasing is a way of showing closeness. It's a way of saying, "You're one of us." But if you don't understand that, you might think people are being hostile. So no, Irish people are not naturally violent or angry. Like anywhere, some individuals are. But the culture itself is far more complex than that cheap trope. Sixth stereotype: Irish people hate the British. This one is tricky, because it touches real history, and then people flatten it into a one-liner. Ireland and Britain have a long, painful, complicated history. That history matters. It shaped politics, identity, family stories, borders, language, and memory. But the stereotype turns all of that into a simple emotion: hate. Real life isn't that simple. Many Irish people have British friends, British relatives, work connections, shared culture, and a normal everyday relationship with Britain that has nothing to do with resentment. At the same time, many Irish people also carry strong opinions about historical injustice, colonialism, and political decisions. And in Northern Ireland in particular, identity can be deeply complex and sensitive. So what's the truth? Irish people are not a single political opinion. You can't reduce a nation to one feeling. Some people are angry about history. Some people are focused on the future. Some people are deeply invested in politics. Some people couldn't care less day to day. The stereotype is wrong because it assumes every Irish person wakes up thinking about England. Most people wake up thinking about work, bills, family, football, weather, dinner, and whether they can get through the week without losing their mind, just like everybody else. Seventh stereotype: all Irish people are Catholic and deeply religious. Historically, Catholicism has had a major role in Irish identity. That part is real. Churches, schools, community life, religion was woven into the structure of society for generations. But modern Ireland is not a single religious box. There are Catholics who are deeply devout. There are Catholics who are culturally Catholic but not practicing. There are people who are Protestant. People who are atheist. People who are spiritual but not religious. People from many faiths due to migration and modern diversity. And over the past few decades, Irish society has changed rapidly. Attitudes have shifted. Public debates have changed. Many people, especially younger generations, have a different relationship to religion than their grandparents did. The stereotype is wrong because it treats Ireland like it's stuck in the past, and it treats Irish identity as if it must be religious. For many people, Irishness is cultural, social, historical, and personal, not automatically tied to church attendance. Eighth stereotype: Irish people all speak Gaelic, or they all should. This one usually comes from a place of curiosity, but it often carries misunderstanding. First, let's clear up a common confusion. The language is Irish, also called Gaeilge, and it's a Celtic language. English is also an official language in Ireland, and it's the most widely spoken everyday language. Irish is taught in schools. It's present in signs. It's part of identity. And there are communities where Irish is a daily spoken language, especially in Gaeltacht regions. But most Irish people speak English as their first language. So when someone meets an Irish person and say something in Gaelic, and then looks disappointed when they can't have a fluent conversation, it's like expecting every Canadian to speak French perfectly, or every Welsh person to speak Welsh fluently. Languages are complicated. History is complicated. Colonialism, education policy, migration, economics, all of it affects language. And here's the important part. The Irish language isn't a gimmick. It's not a cute tradition. It's a living cultural heritage that many people are trying to preserve and revive. So the stereotype is wrong in two ways. It assumes all Irish people speak it fluently, and it sometimes treats the language like a party trick. Ninth stereotype: Ireland is basically rural farms, sheep, and tiny villages. If your image of Ireland comes from postcards and tourist ads, you might genuinely believe the entire country looks like rolling green hills with a lone cottage and a stone wall. And yes, that Ireland exists. It's beautiful. It's real. But it's not the whole Ireland. Modern Ireland includes bustling cities, heavy traffic, apartment blocks, universities, nightlife, tech offices, commuter towns, and modern infrastructure. Dublin is a capital city with all the chaos and energy that comes with being a capital city. Other cities have their own scenes, identities, and growth. The stereotype is wrong because it turns Ireland into a permanent countryside fantasy. It also misses the real tension many people feel: housing costs, urban development, changing neighborhoods, the push and pull between tradition and modern life. Ireland isn't a museum landscape. It's a living society dealing with modern problems like everyone else. And now the 10th stereotype: this one is the biggest of all, because it silently fuels the others. The stereotype that Irish people are all basically the same. One accent. One personality. One culture. One Irish vibe. This is where the real misunderstanding begins. Ireland has regional differences that matter. People from different counties can have noticeably different accents, different slang, and different social rhythms. City life feels different from rural life. Coastal communities can feel different from inland communities. Older generations often communicate differently than younger ones. Even within a single city, there can be strong differences shaped by class, history, local identity, and community. Then you add the complexity of Northern Ireland, where identity can be Irish, British, both, or neither, depending on the person, and where history has left deep marks in politics and everyday life. So when people say, the Irish are like this, they usually mean, the Irish people I met, or, the Irish character I saw in a film, or, the Irish stereotype I absorbed through media. Real Irish identity is not one thing. It's a range. It can be soft-spoken or loud, deeply traditional or extremely modern, religious or not, rural or urban, reserved or outgoing, sarcastic or sincere, local-minded or global-minded. And when you understand that, you start to see why the first 9 stereotypes are so flawed. Because once you reduce a whole country to a single personality, everything becomes a caricature. So what's the big takeaway? Most stereotypes start as a sliver of reality. A pattern someone noticed. A cultural feature that got exaggerated. A tourist image that got repeated. A movie character that got copied again and again until it became truth. But real people are always more complicated. So next time you hear someone say, Irish people are all, just pause and ask, which Irish people? Where? What age? What background? What time period? What context? Because Ireland is not a costume, and Irish people are not a character template. They're individuals. Shaped by history, geography, family, class, and modern life, just like everyone else. Now I want to hear from you. Which Irish stereotype have you heard the most, online, in movies, or in real life? I've got more Ireland-focused videos coming, about Irish traditions people copy without knowing the meaning, Irish DNA myths that confuse everyone, and the surprising differences within Ireland that outsiders never expect. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.